Who's in some mood for some Game Gear / Master System Aladdin? A game filled heavy on presentation, story, and dialogue. There's about as much dialogue and story in this game as there is gameplay. Now, in a lot of cases, that would make it kind of bad and boring, but the presentation in this game is second to none. And it's possibly the best Aladdin of the three: Super Nintendo's, Sega Genesis, and this one here. This one less talked about, less known. It is easy, so it made for an easy no-death run, but it's more about the game. This game is actually very special, and those who played it know what I'm talking about. This game's a lot of fun. It is pretty simplistic, but it follows the story of Aladdin better than any other game, hands down. It's perfect. Like, you almost don't even need to watch the movie in some regards. 30 minutes of this game sums up the film perfectly, and they put all the focus and all the emphasis on following the movie as close as they could. And a near-death experience right there, getting touched by that guy, is an insta-death. So, upon almost failure, I decided to focus and put my best foot forward to beat this game without dying. Not that it really matters. It's more about the fun experience that this game is. And it's a very fun, underrated experience. I mentioned simplistic, as there are 3 stages in this game where you run like this. And somehow they space it out enough that it never gets old. Ironically enough, the second level continues the very same thing, only doing it with Jasmine, which you think would get repetitive, but they open the game that way and it doesn't wear itself out, and you do once more higher stakes later in the game. Now, I had this game on the Game Gear as a kid, and essentially it was put out for the Game Gear and also released on the Master System. Reason I say also released is it's 1994, which is well past the lifespan of the Master System. Though it was still being played in certain parts of the world, the general launch of this game was for the Game Gear, as that's something they were trying to push and promote. And this is one of the titles that they actually put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and it shows in this game. Now, I could read the story and read the dialogue, or you could just play the game for yourself or just watch the movie, but it does follow the movie really, really well. They make a point of that. Which is why it's very neat to see a game so old be so heavy on the presentation and cutscenes. Something you didn't see much in old retro 2D games was cutscenes, and excessive cutscenes, as this game is literally probably half cutscenes, but it kind of adds to the game's value and adds to the game enjoyment. You can see the second level, though, pretty easy basic stuff, but it's exactly what happens in the movie. They meet, she gives a kid an apple, she gets in shit for it. The goons want to chop her hand off because they're psychos. So Aladdin comes to the rescue, they run away from the popo, and this is essentially what they're doing, showing us their pole vaulting skills. Now, in some regards, it's the dry moments like this where there's not even any sound effects. They don't leave it too long without fixing that. You feel the void as I narrate over the blank cutscenes. And not too long before they add some kind of element, here, the popo, that they kind of ramp it up a little bit. But it is a little empty, and you can tell that you're playing a handheld game. Smooth move, Aladdin. He says, "Do you trust me?" They jump off from one cop and find 4 more. So it didn't really do him much justice. Anyways, Jasmine looks fire there in her little outfit. The graphics, let's do it. For a Game Gear game, come on. For a Game Gear game, these are 5 out of 5. For a Master System, they're a 5 out of 5. They look excellent. I like the small, detailed sprites. Everything in this game looks actually superb. Obviously, it doesn't look as good as the 16-bit counterparts, but you can't compare it to that. This is an 8-bit game, and it's an 8-bit game that looks like above and beyond 8-bit. Like, it looks really good. The audio in the game is, nothing over the top. Here you got fake Jafar coming up. I guess it's Jafar pretending. I don't know why Jafar does this. It's kind of a weird trope for him to come down here and try to lure Aladdin into the Cave of Wonders. I guess he can't show up as Jafar because Aladdin would be like, screw you. But anyone bailing him out of jail should be a good thing. So it's like, here, I'm going to get you out of jail, but you got to go into the Cave of Wonders and get a fucking lamp. But anyways, this game's really cool. But again, you can see all the presentation being used here. All the effort and care into showing the process of the movie. It's really interesting that they took this route. And to some people, I think this game kind of stands out more because of that. Okay, so your first more traditional platforming level here, as you know, the first two stages were just strictly running and jumping and dodging things. Here it's just actual platforming, and it's done really well. The Cave of Wonders is one of the first levels that will start to eat up a few men and start to kind of, you know, challenge you a little bit. Though it's an easy game and it gives infinite continues, it's designed to win. They want you to beat this game, but they make it challenging enough that you're going to lose a few men here or there. And it makes the process kind of fun. Even learning how to pass those spikes, simply squatting and crawling past, they add those neat little platforming elements to make the games separate from the 16-bit games. Here starts a bit of the trend in the game where you have to get keys. Later on when you're in the palace, it's the same kind of process. You have to find keys, so to make sure you got to go in the right direction so you're not unnecessarily backtracking to find the keys that you didn't find in the first place to open the doors that you may stumble across before you actually get the key. Obviously, I knew to get this key first as I hit the fork in the road there. I want to go the right direction so I don't have to come all the way back, which can result in obvious death. So yeah, graphics are a 5 out of 5 for a Game Gear or Master System games. The sound, nothing outstanding. I'm going to call it a 4 out of 5. It's still good. It fits the game. It sticks to the Aladdin lore. You know you're playing an Aladdin game when you hear the sound effects and music, so they do what they're supposed to do correctly. Its controls are actually very, very, very good and responsive. Unlike many other Game Gear games I've played, you feel that crappy handheld control, where things seem clunky, delayed, and stiff. Not in this game. It plays very 16-bit like, and that's one of the reasons I really loved it as a kid, because it didn't feel like I was playing a lesser product on a little handheld Game Gear. I felt like I had actual 16-bit quality just in my hands, which was rare for the Game Gear, and I think rare for all handheld games. So its controls are a 4.5 out of 5. They're pretty damn good. And last but not least, the fun factor. Even though the game can get a little bit boring with having to click through the dialogue, you know, if you're a person who loves to read the dialogue, for me, I think it's a one-time read. After that, it's more about playing the actual game. Earlier, the game gives a good little tip. When you enter the Cave of Wonders, the old man tells you not to touch anything but the lamp. Well, he's serious about that. Touching any of those jewels will result in insta-death. Rocks will fall on you and kill you immediately, so don't touch any of that treasure. Don't slide into it, don't touch it with your toes. You must clear it or else it will kill you. And literally, even without commentary or even reading the little cutscenes, the game itself, visually, explains the story of Aladdin really well. Like I said, if I were not to talk or just quickly skip through the dialogue, you can see the progression of this story unfold before your eyes really, really well. And they do just, the presentation is phenomenal. Like, it's the best presentation of any of the Aladdins for sure, because it follows the movie so perfectly that one could argue that's its slow points in the game and some of its like lesser challenging levels, like just simply running. But if you are just running, that's what happens. And here in this, you escape in the cave. This is a level that worked in all three games really well. Obviously not the best in this one, as it's the easiest and the shortest. But I don't know, as a whole, this game ties together really nicely. So that's kind of this game in a nutshell. As quickly as you went from a cutscene and some dialogue to some short gameplay and a short level, you're thrown right back into another cutscene and more dialogue. But I love this part, as you got Jafar up there saying, "Give me the lamp." You know, if it was me, I'd know I'd have something of value. I'd be like, "Fuck you, man, pull me up, or else I'm gonna fall down here with this lamp. So pull my ass up, and then you can get the lamp." Don't give him. See, he's young, foolish. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the value of that lamp. So he hands it to him, and of course, he knocks his ass off and sends him fucking falling into the Cave of Wonders to rot to death. But luckily, he finds a genie, Will Smith, aka Robin Williams. Proper genie, Robin Williams. Though I will say that the new movie with the actual actors was meh. Will Smith was still good. I thought he was a good part to play the genie. No replacement for Robin Williams, though. So yeah, the story in the nutshell, he's in the Cave of Wonders. He uses one of his wishes to get out. I think he actually tricks the genie and doesn't even waste a wish in that part, because he did something in the movie to earn himself that free trick, pulled one over the genie. But yeah, then the first thing afoot is to become a prince, because to get Jasmine, he's got to be a prince, right? So here comes probably the best level in the game, the most challenging level in the game for sure. There's a lot of insta-deaths by getting touched by the guards. There's a cool element of throwing rocks to stun them, to get by them. There's a lot of other good platforming. I have to laugh when I look at this palace and I think about how unfinished it is. Like, for example, coming up, there's a part where you got to get up some stairs, but to get to the stairs, you got to like jump up and pull yourself up. So it's like, where are the other set of stairs? Who would design the building like this? I think Jasmine's father, don't remember his name, needs to fire the architects. Here it is. Like, look at this. Like, why? Why aren't there stairs there? How's a handicapped person going to get up to the other stairs? Why have one case of stairs and not the two cases of stairs? Or not even a ladder? It doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense when you're playing a video game and you need unnecessary things to platform. Think how there'd be like almost no platforming involved. Just be walking upstairs, collecting keys. But that's a part of the fun in this level. Is it is a small maze. I say maze loosely, but there are areas where you might be repeating, going around in circle a few times. Little bit of backtracking as you search for the key and evade the stupid prince. Not the princes, the guards. Another thing that's kind of stupid are these holes. Why did the architects not finish that balcony? Why are there just random holes in the ground? Again, an excuse for platforming. You know, I guess that was probably a part of the difficulty making these games back in the day, especially on handheld. How do you make a quality game on a little tiny system? You know, how much effort do you put in? How much money were they being paid to pump these games out? What was their incentive to make a quality game? So they just cheaply add some random holes in the ground, make you climb up in necessary spots that should have stairs to begin with. But it doesn't change the fact that this game is excellent. And I've heard some other people in the community mention this one when people bring up the discussion of which Aladdin do you like better, Super Nintendo or Sega. Myself, personally, I do think the Genesis version is a little better. I like the Super Nintendo version by Capcom, but honestly, I think I like this version the most. Maybe because it's lesser talked about, it's lesser praised, but it just plays really well. And I don't know, I don't want to be a broken record, but it just fits the movie, plays out the story better than the other two, and just something very memorable about it. And I'll just leave it at that. I'll more or less let the gameplay roll out, and thanks for watching. Like, again, it's just scene for scene the movie done in under 30 minutes. It's really impressive that they did this on a Game Gear and Master System in 1994. Executed really, really well. Okay, so at the start of the game, I mentioned how the game has 3 auto-scrolling levels where you're just automatically running, and you need to jump and dodge and evade all the objects thrown at you. The first level and the second level, and I mentioned how you think that would be kind of like, overdone at the start. Well, they kind of open it up with that and makes you think, is this all the game is? But then you don't see it again until this level here, which is the hardest and most challenging level in the game. And it's also a nice touch that they bring it back as well. Jafar just looks really cool flying there. This level is executed well. This game is executed well. If you haven't played it, I strongly suggest you try it. It's a simple, fun, easy playthrough. With unlimited continues, you're sure to beat it in 30 to 45 minutes. I love this part too because you got Jafar, right, complaining that he's not the most powerful, so he bugs and asks to become a genie, and then he's all like, "Oh, look at me, I'm the most powerful genie ever. I'm super strong, blah 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 blah." And yeah, all of a sudden, what? He gets the shackles that make him a slave to be a genie. Like, I love how they make villains always so stupid in video games or in movies for that matter. You think Jafar would be wise enough to be like, yeah, right, you want me to become a genie? What, do you think I'm an idiot? Like, you don't think I realize that genies are slaves to masters and imprisoned in a lamp? Like, you don't think Jafar knows this? But, cartoon kids' movies need to find a way to wrap up the story in a fun, positive way. So sure enough, they make the bad guy a moron. That's the story of every movie, every game. Bad guys are stupid and they always lose. And maybe that's the way it will always be in storytelling. It gets a little bit predictable and a little bit cliche, but in a Disney movie, it's very fitting. And this game rocks. Not enough good things I can say about Game Gear, Master System, Aladdin. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. This game is incredibly awesome. Had a lot of fun reliving this game. Thank you for watching my no death run of Aladdin for the Master System / Game Gear. It's a pretty sweet game.